You know, when Johnny Mountain gets a story, he usually pours himself into it body and soul. Well, he may have lost his soul permanently on this one. Here's Johnny's unusually incisive report on vampires. We recently gave Johnny the assignment of tracking down a real live vampire in California, and it seems that he's taking his work a little too seriously.
You may not recognize me in my street clothes. They make me tone it down for the weather. Pretty spooky stuff, eh? I'm afraid you caught me at a disadvantage. It's the cook's night out, so I'm going to fly over to my girlfriend for a bite. Won't you join me?
Vampires are popular guys, especially show business vampires like Christopher Lee and Bela Lugosi. Bela's dog even made a couple of pictures in the 50s. Of the hundreds of Dracula movies that have been made, one of the first and best is the original Nosferatu, a silent, made in 1922. Even though this early Dracula lacks the sex appeal of the more modern movie vampires, he was a sensation, and today, horror fans are still enthusiastic.
I am Dr. Donald A. Reed, the founder of the Count Dracula Society.
The Society is a 20-year-old organization dedicated to the appreciation of Dracula and horror films in general. Each year, they give out these awards for the best new work.
You know, kids today who grow up in America in this modern age accept Dracula as a friend, really. At Halloween, they dress as Dracula. At costume parties, they dress as Dracula. They go to see the films, buy the comic books and the novels. And he's become part of our life. He's become part of the American mythology. America is having and has had a love affair with Count Dracula.
These unscheduled stops are killing me again. But this is one of my favorite hunts. You know, it takes a lot to get me out in the sunlight, but this place, such a deal.
This is a real vampire bat, the South American variety, not the Hollywood breed. The Dracula character that we know comes from a 19th century novel by Bram Stoker. It's based loosely on the real-life Prince Dracula, a real nasty guy who killed a lot of people in the 15th century. The ruins of his castle still exist today, in an area that used to be called Transylvania.
Traditions about vampires and vampire hauntings go back all the way to classical antiquity.
Psychic phenomenon expert Scott Rogo has researched the history of vampirism.
The Hollywood tradition of the vampire is based to a great degree on very genuine European folklore. However, there are, to my knowledge, no legitimate vampire cases that have been reported from any civilized country over the last 100 years.
I bite you, I drink your blood, then I open a vein either in my breast or in my neck and force you to drink my blood. Well, there you can see very clearly that what there is a transfer of essence.
It's hard to find vampires walking the streets of LA. We had to fly all the way to Sacramento to find one.
Vampirism is not, as most people have been led to believe, an evil condition. It's not the result of being bad in your life. It's an addiction. It's an addiction like any other addiction that any human being can have.
Right.
It's like I'm waking up from a nap and absolutely having to have a Big Mac.
Well, maybe Johnny didn't unearth that many vampires, but it looks like he found true love with a lady named Elvira.
Oh, my darling.
Oh, Johnny, darling.
I brought you some flowers.
Oh, you shouldn't have. They're still alive.
Are you ready for dinner, my dear?
Oh, yes, Johnny, darling, but haven't you forgotten one tiny thing? Why do I always get stuck for the drinks?
We'll bear all later on tonight with our best outtakes. But next up, the trials of the modern inventor.